So I visited a cement company in Turkey, and cement is an industry where you are very tied in geographically. Transportation cost of cement is very high relative to production cost. So basically, a cement plant typically starts to get non-competitive once you are getting to be 100 or 200 kilometers or miles away from the plant. So it tends to be very geographically. So once you're about 200 miles away, another plant is going to typically have some advantage over you because the transport cost starts eating in. And so most cement plants are geographically constrained. They can only supply within a region and be competitive. So when I visited this company, I noticed that they had a small percentage, but a percentage of exports. And I'd never seen a cement company exporting cement. So I was kind of confused by that. One of the things the thing about this industry is that all knowledge is cumulative, and I have met with about at least 10 cement companies in India, and one of the 10 CFOs I met, who I like a lot, just told me, this is a shit business, don't invest in it. And let me explain why you don't want to invest in it. He instantly became my friend, and he ran through the numbers and explained why I should never invest in the business. And anyway, I had already gotten to similar conclusions, but not with his precision. So before I even went into I go into these meetings like this cement company. I tried to even cancel the meeting. I said, listen, this is going to be a waste of time. I'm just never going to invest in cement. And but the meeting was already set, so whatever. So I said, okay, what I always find with these things, I think it's going to be like a wasted hour. But it turned out to be like an incredible. Every time I'm always wrong when I'm thinking that this is a useless business or whatever else. There's no point. It ends up being a great hour of business school. And this was another great hour of business school. So I'm talking to the company. I said, listen, I'm noticing you got like this, relatively small percentage, but like, 8-9% of your volumes are being exported. So, I'm the village idiot. You can't run cement. You can't transport cement very far. Can you explain what's going on here? Like, how can you get to actually exporting? So the CFO says that our plants are sitting on the coast, and we have a dedicated port. And I didn't realize, but Turkey has incredible advantage on production of cement. And I think it must be because, and I still haven't figured all of this out, but I think that three big ingredients are limestone, cheap coal, and cheap energy. Those are the three things you need to make cheap cement. And they have all three of these are cheap. I think I have to research the limestone, but definitely the coal deposits. Turkey has no petroleum; it has a lot of coal, and the power rates are very low. So their cost of production of cement is very low in Turkey, and they are able to take that cement, put it on a ship, and get it to the east coast of the U.S. and get it into the Horn of Africa, and not on the Horn. I'm sorry, on the other side, on the west coast of Africa. And in both cases, they're very competitive. And of course, when they get it to the east coast, they can't go very far. But just the way geography is in the U.S., we have high population density on the east coast. So once you're at the port, you don't need to transport very far to get to humans who need cement. And so basically, when he explained the economics, so I told him, listen, the devaluation makes you even more competitive. And so the CFO explained that their domestic cement business, he said, listen, don't look at our numbers in the past. I'm just telling you, they're going to be terrible in the future. Okay? because he says the brunt of the financial crisis has not shown up into our numbers yet. I said, I'm so grateful for that candor. Thank you so much. But he said, look, what's going to happen is that my 10% or 9% of volume that's being shipped, it'll take me some time, but I will get to 50% being shipped, being exported. Because I was competitive before, but I am way more competitive now because of the exchange rate. And so this is an interesting business in the sense that it's almost as if the currency doesn't matter so much, because if the currency drops further, he'll go to 70% exports eventually and such. And the other thing is, the currency goes the other way, it probably is because the economy is getting better. So his domestic volumes start increasing. So I just found it interesting that, the only other company that I know of like this is POSCO in South Korea. It used to always be that you couldn't really have a steel industry unless you had iron ore in country. And both Japan and South Korea proved that you could just bring it in and ship it out. And so POSCO, if you look at it in South Korea, their port infrastructure, one of the most advanced in the world. It's like in a U, where the ships that drop off the ore are the same ships that pick up the finished product in just a U-turn. Very efficient logistics. And so POSCO was able to bring all the resources in they needed to make steel and ship them all out and still be super competitive. And all of this works very well because ocean shipping has become super cheap over the years. So